Plumbing and Electrical Board. Mr. Boza?
Plumbing and electrical boards have not met over the summer. Their next tentative meeting date is September 7th at 6:30 and 6:45 respectively, provided there is business. That's all. Thank you.
Sir. Senior Advisory, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. I met with the senior housing representatives and residents once again this month, and there are no significant situations to report. Only the good news about Santos Rodriguez, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there is.
And Access 23 report, Mr. Belcher.
Thank you, Mayor. Carl wanted me to mention that the third annual Rockin' the City for Hunger food drive will be held at September 17th at Riverside Park from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's plenty of entertainment. It's going to be like a concert. This helps the food pantries in the Port Jervis area, put together by Richards Productions. Special thanks to Recreation Chairman John Fagione. And the TV station is also having problems with bats in the upstairs portion of the TV studio. And DPW is not equipped to get rid of them, and Animal Control Officer either. So the police chief has recommended hiring a professional person to get rid of them.
Bats in the Belfry, huh?
Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Under Mayor's Correspondence and Information Update, I received a letter today. This is from Port Jervis Electric. Apparently, they're doing some donation electrical work for the Stephen Crane photo exhibit. Port Jervis Electric gave a proposal amount of $478 for shelf lighting, wiring, and dimmers for the Stephen Crane photo exhibit at the Port Jervis Free Library. All of this amount was proposed on July 28, 2016, and shall be donated by Port Jervis Electric as stated on proposal. He is formally requesting that the fee for the Port Jervis building permit for this electric work also be waived by the council, as he's doing the work for free. So do I have anybody that would entertain that motion?
I would move to waive the fee.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bovozo, a second by by Mr. Siegel, a second by Mr. Bovozo. Discussion. Any discussion?
Do we just have an idea of what the fee would be, approximately?
$30.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. If you remember a little while ago, Adecco USA, which is the hiring service for Colmar Labs, requested a job recruitment fair. Initially, they wanted it up at the Orange Square, but we asked them to go to the farmers market. It was very successful for them, and they are coming back to us. That was on July 21st. They're asking us to hold 2 more job recruitment fairs, one on August 29th and one on September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. They would take care of the tables, chairs, the tent, and the company sign, logos, and balloons, and hand out flyers and basic applications. Do I have a motion to allow this?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Belcher, second by Mr. Foster. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. This is a letter dated August 12, 2016. Dear Mayor, council members, and the citizens of Port Jervis. I would like to extend an invitation to all council members, city employees, and residents of the city of Port Jervis to be part of our memorial service for our September 11th victims. Our service will be Sunday, September 11th at 8:30 a.m. at Deer Park Town Hall, 420 Route 209, Huguenot, New York. This is the 15th anniversary of this tragedy our country has been through. It is with great pleasure that we will be having our children from the Port Jervis School District participating in this memorial event. We will be reading names of our military that are on active duty from the tri-state area. This day will never be forgotten, and we as the town and city will do our best to remember this day together. Sincerely, Flo Santini. So please try to remember, that's Sunday, so it's a day, and it's early, it's 8:30, so it's before anybody that would need to possibly go to church. If you remember last At our last meeting, a young lady got up and talked about Woofstock, not Woodstock, but Woofstock. And it is going to be held Sunday, September 18th from 1 to 5. This is at the Port Jervis High School Auditorium. This is a memorial benefit concert. All proceeds will go to the Humane Society of Port Jervis and Deer Park. There'll be door prizes, limited edition t-shirts are also available in 50/50. Again, all proceeds will go to the Humane Society. I have a letter from the Farmers Market in regards to a fundraiser for the Farmers Market in celebration of a successful 2016 Farmers Market season. I'm writing to request permission to hold a fundraising breakfast on October 8, 2016 at Farmers Market Square, 1 Hammond Street, Port Jervis, New York. The breakfast may begin ahead of the market's regular 9 a.m. start, but will finish no later than 1 p.m. at the time the market normally closes. Beginning with fruits, vegetables, eggs, and meats from established market vendors, and with addition of other products from local eateries, a local licensed caterer will be preparing a delicious seasonal menu on site. Long festive tables with chairs will be located under a tent provided and erected by a professional tent company. For fundraising, we anticipate offering standard servings for standard fees. If agreeable, we ask that no parking be posted Friday, October 7th, which is normally done. That's how we keep the lot clear. It's done by 5 o'clock on the day before. Making way for the erection of the tent, which will be taken down later on the 8th. We don't anticipate a need for additional police. We may need to request 2 or 3 additional garbage cans be placed in the vicinity just to capture waste. An insurance certificate will be available per city requirements. Other details as required will be identified and addressed well ahead of the event. We look forward to sharing nature's bounty with the community at large and with the council's permission. We look forward to seeing you all at the breakfast on October 8th. And then it's signed by Sarah Worthy, who happens to be here tonight, our director of the Port Jervis Farmers Market. Your pleasure.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Siegel, second by Mr. Bovozo. Discussion.
I think it's a great idea. I've been in other communities where you do something similar, and bravo to you for doing that.
And when does it start again?
But I think they want to start at 8 o'clock, right?
I think we decided that people would, we have a lot of people that get there right at 9 usually anyways. So 8 o'clock, I know I want to eat breakfast at that time, so we didn't want anybody to have to wait around and maybe not enjoy it as much as they would if it started at a later time.
Okay.
So if it would be possible, I usually get there and the vendors usually get there at about 8:15, 8:30 anyways. So if it would be all right, then we'd like to start about an hour early.
Sure.
I have a question. Is there any DPW being used for this or no?
No, we just put garbage cans out.
Just the garbage?
That's all I can think of. And if
Will you
that's not
decide
okay,
anybody
then
else?
I'll do the garbage. I'll take care of it.
Bravo
Okay.
once again.
I like that answer. I think more people should have that answer. Then I have no problem with it, as long as no other resources are being used and everything else is being donated. It's not our city farmer's market, correct?
Well, they technically, you're technically right now going under the Berryville market, right? They're
Well,
They're
farmers
not
markets
for
in Orange County are like quasi-governmental, where we're appreciated and we're registered with the county and the state, but any fiscal matters are through a nonprofit organization.
which are currently going through Berryville's only because they have to set their own up.
Okay, but you can act like a nonprofit even if you're not yet, right? Like you can,
Yeah, I
you
believe
can,
so,
like
yes.
if you have an intention to be a nonprofit,
Yes.
you can behave as such.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that we're all set with that.
Yes.
That sounds wonderful then.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to appoint Mr. Robert Bloomer to the Tourism Board, dated this day, August 22nd, for the term to expire on January 31st, 2018. Mr. Bloomer stepped up. He is the owner of International Deli on the top of Pike Street and wants to get involved, and we'd like volunteers, correct? All right, have to do a little promoting for our own event. We have both a run event and a bike event. It's called Saturday, they're back-to-back weekends. Saturday, October 22nd is the Will of Orange, and this race is a 10, 25, and 50K race. And then there is the Erie 80, which is a bike race on October 29th. And that is a 20K, 40K, and 80K. That is in our watershed area, and this is really going to be the one kickoff, as almost all the trails, although there's going to be a few more trails added to the park, the majority of the trails are done. The majority, almost 99% of the trails are marked themselves, and just we're just working on the trail end markers, telling you which trails are where, and we'll be doing the gate system because a grant came in for that, so we'll have the money to be able to do gates. That way emergency vehicles will have access. In the next week or so, I'm putting together a PowerPoint right now for emergency services. For emergency services, so that they know how to access should there ever be a situation on any of the trails. The nice thing is that many of the trails are actually drivable, whether it's by a vehicle, usually four-wheel drive, or even an ATV. So this is going to be a nice kickoff for that. And the last is the Fall Foliage Festival, which is September 25th. It was already announced by Mr. Belcher, but don't miss it. This is the one that brings thousands of people to Port Jervis. It's going to be a great event, as always. And I see Tom zooming in there, making sure that I get it right. There we go. All right. And so before I finish, I'm really at a loss of words of the significance of this week. Tuesday, I received a phone call from the county exec and then from Bob's wife, and I had just texted Bob earlier that day. We stayed in constant contact pretty much every day, and it's just really sad. We all know people in the area that suffer from cancer, and to lose two fine men, and of course Dennis this morning, it's just mind-boggling that, you know, I know that there's people out there and medicine works. My brother had 3 bouts of cancer and just overcame his third, but there's some possibility of some more. So I know that there's doctors out there working very hard. My father had lung cancer and survived 12 years after his surgery. But it's just eating away at the lives and the relationships that we have. And the biggest thing is to keep Bob and his wife and their kids in our prayers, and to keep Dennis and Carly and Carly's daughter and their grandchild, and his brothers who live here in town also, as well as as well as Bob's brothers and sister in our prayers. And they're going to be 2 hard men to replace. I will tell you that Dennis, when I worked with him over at the 105th, he and I were always promoting Port Jervis. It was in Newburgh, but anytime something came up, Port Jervis was on the tip of our tongues. Don't forget us. Don't forget the contingent from Port Jervis. And Dennis went so much further, as well as Michael, who normally comes here and does the announcements, with the World War II veterans and the honor flight, and being involved in promoting our servicemen and especially our World War II veterans. And Bob was a very dedicated man, a humble man, and really cared. Both of them really cared for our city. So with that said, I move to the City Clerk Treasurer's Report.
Okay, well, I will start a little more upbeat. I will say fall foliage vendor applications are also available in the city clerk's office. That being number 1. Number 2, I want to applaud the Arts Council for visiting Alana. It's one of my favorite places. My family lived in Hudson when I was younger, and it was one of my family's favorite places, so I did a lot of homework on the side porch at Alana.
So you better better get her a ticket real
And
quick.
it's quite a gorgeous place, and remember, every window in that home is placed because of its view, and every window is a portrait. So enjoy every look in the building. And lastly but not leastly, Bob Ritchie was a finance chairperson for me multiple times during my tenure here, and we kind of served together. And the one word that he will be really missed by my city clerk's office, because he was a very frequent visitor and one of our best signators. And the one word that always comes to mind is dignity.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Bob always served this council with dignity.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you. Old business, Ms. Randazzo.
And I also want to extend my condolences to the Ritchie family. There was a beautiful service that was held for Bob, and he's going to be missed sorely by the Republican Committee and by the council. I've worked with him for many years. And also, I'd also like to extend my condolences to the Simmons family. Dennis was a great contributor to our community, beginning with Pop Warner football and all the other things that he did here. So they'll both be missed, and my condolences to both families. I'd also like to mention that the 4th Ward Neighborhood Watch meeting will be held the 3rd Wednesday of September, which is September 21st at 7 p.m. at the Howard Wheat Engine Company. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Fitzpatrick.
I just want to send my condolences to Carla. Also, her grandchildren. I knew Carla for a long time in Dennis. I worked with Carla at Homer's. I've served Dennis coffee many times. I'm going to miss him very much. Also, Bob Ritchie's family, Sue and her daughter Claire, and their immediate family, I'm sending my deepest condolences to. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Belcher.
And Bob and I worked together for 8 years. Bob was always a gentleman. He was always interested in the people in Port Jervis and the city. I'd like to extend my condolences to Sue and the rest of the family. Also, I'd like to extend my condolences to Carla Simmons and the brothers. Bob and I together worked with Dennis during election campaigns for 8 years. So Dennis was a good man, and I'd like to extend my condolences to his whole family. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Mr. Bovozo.
I'd like to offer my condolences to the Simmons family. I confess I didn't know Dennis that well. However, I did know he had a great love for this city, and he always worked hard on behalf of this city. Bob Ritchie is someone like Frank Bell, who I knew as a neighbor and a friend well before I knew as a council person, and was a very important person to me. He's a great guy, a gentleman, a very good family man. I grew up right around the corner from where the Ritchie family lives. So it's a great loss for the city. He was a fantastic servant of the city, and he will be sorely missed. And I offer my sincerest condolences to the Ritchie family as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Foster.
I too offer my condolences to both of them. Both of those gentlemen is the reason why I stand here today and sit here at this table. Bob got me back into the political arena. Dennis always was there and always reached out and said that, you know what, you're a dignity just like all of us. You have a head on your shoulders. You should run and be here. And he always looked up to me, and I've looked up to both of them. And I send my condolences out to both of them and their families. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Trowbridge.
I too would like to send my sympathies to the Ritchie and Simmons families. Like Regis, those two gentlemen also helped me get into the political world. They were great mentors, they were good friends. They served their city and their county and state and country with pride and with passion that can't be matched by most people. They were very committed and dedicated and were always willing to help anyone and they always had a smile, even when they were battling their illnesses, and they will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Siegel.
I as well extend my condolences to the Ritchie family and the Simmons family. Bob was the man who cared for his family, he cared for his constituents, cared for the city, and he cared for the veterans. And his party, you know, Bob was the party. He, one time he said to me, Stan, I know you're not a Republican, but I'll take it. So, to me that was good because I think he had to fight off some people to do that at that point a long time ago. The Simmons family, Dennis and I, well, let me just say, Dennis served our community as well. He served our country. He served his church. He was all about veterans. He did more for veterans than many people that I know. That kind of dedication makes a big difference. He's another community servant that we've lost. And then there was Frank Bell, who we lost first. Those three guys served with, many of us served with them for a good number of years to make Port Jervis a better place. And with the loss of those three guys, I think there's a big void that needs to be filled. They'll be missed. I certainly will miss them. I know our family will miss them. They were all true friends. And God bless them and God bless their families. Thank you.
Thank you. New business?
Yeah, I think last meeting I talked about Every Kid in the Park, a program that the National Park Service has. This year is the 100th anniversary of National Park Service, and they're offering national park entrance to all incoming fourth graders for a year. It's called a Passport to Your National Parks. It's good for a child and their family for a whole year to enjoy our national parks. I was going to write down the email address, but I didn't. But if you go to nps.gov, there's an email address where you can actually just fill out the application, they'll mail it to you. Or you can go to any park. Of course, we have a beautiful one in Milford, Gray Towers. You can go there, go to the main office, and they'll help you fill out the form and give you your card right there. But it's a golden opportunity to have people visit our parks. I know that my grandchildren got involved in the program, and Emma had a big smile on her face when she got us all in for free. So, of course. But it's a great opportunity to go see the parks around here. And as I said, Gray Towers, if you've never been there, you absolutely have to go there. And go there when there's an event going on. We just had the wood thing up there 2 weekends ago, I guess. There's 2 days in the year when all national parks are free. I don't have those days, but that's on the site too. And then you have the upper Delaware Park and the lower Delaware, and just hosts of them. So take advantage of that. If you know a fourth grader, get them signed up and get their passport. And Wolfstock, everybody talked about Wolfstock, that's September 18th. And Peter Osborne sent out, actually put it on Facebook, and this is his words, not mine. He's moving to another country, Nebraska. And he's already moved there, and he's going to go back and forth because he has a business there now and business here. But I want to wish him good luck in his latest venture. Peter and I and Peter and other people in this council in this town have been good friends for a good number of years. He was a loss to Port Jervis. He'll be a loss to Easton. Nebraska's got him now. And I can only wish him the same luck that he had while he was here in Easton. So God bless you, Peter. And the only other thing is, and it was brought up earlier by Mr. Greck, is the curbs on East Main Street. The first section of curbing, that the sidewalks that they put down going east toward Church Street, had curbing, and there's curbing, and then there's green grass, and then there's a sidewalk. The second section, east of Church Street, going to the east, for the parts that they just did, have relatively no curbs. They've gone to almost the edge of the road, and for some ungodly reason, they put down stone. Now, how long could we imagine that stone is going to lay between the sidewalk and the pavement?
Well, I believe that Orange and Rockland's paying for the sidewalks, but when the grant money comes through for next year, they are putting curbing in, right? They're putting curbs in.
But the stuff they just put down is going to be nothing but a total mess.
Now, that, I mean,
Total mess. I hope so. Because I have a piece of property there, and I already had to sweep it once, and it was only down for a half hour. Okay, I guess wait to see what happens. And that's all I have. Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, wait, no, I have one more thing. What's a day spa?
We're gonna be doing massage therapies. Day spa,
Massage.
stone therapies.
No, Stanley, it's not like that.
They
Thank
play
you.
relaxing music.
Yeah.
Music? Oh, cool.
Did they have essential oils there too? There you go, right? Ms. Trogan,
Thank you.
No new business.
thank you. Mr. Foster.
First Ward Neighborhood Watch is going to be on September 14th at 6:30 at Excelsior Engine Company number 5. So just to let everybody know. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rebozo?
Just going on what was presented during Mayor's correspondence, if you haven't had a chance to go to the Deer Park September 11th ceremony, you should try to make time. It's always well done. I unfortunately will be unable to make it this year, but it's certainly something to try. They actually do it so early in the morning because they do a moment of silence at the exact time that each plane hit each tower. So it's very, very moving, and it's worth going out to see in person. Also, since I won't be at the only other meeting before the Foliage Festival, I again recommend everybody get out to the Foliage Festival. This is one of the best events that Port Jervis does. Usually I eat my way through it. I plan on doing it again this year. But it's always a terrific thing, and there's always a great sense of community at an event like this. So don't miss it. If you've had the opportunity to go in years past and haven't, there might actually be something wrong with you. So fix that this year. Go down, check it out, and enjoy yourself. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Belcher?
I'd like to thank Tom Castellonia for being here tonight to operate the camera for us so that our taxpayers and watchers can watch the council meeting. I also like to toot my horn. The meetings have been broadcast without any interruptions, without any sound interruptions, and the picture has been great.
And you should toot your own horn. Toot, toot. Absolutely. It's working.
I had a little help from John Bonisic and Carl Bradnick as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that's not George's fault. That's the wiring fault. Ms. Fitzpatrick, if you can hear me over there.
Yes, I can. Okay, the Recreation Department's having a field trip to the Jets game on Sunday, October 23rd. The bus leaves at 8 a.m. at the Royal Furniture. For adults, it's $130, and that includes the bus, the game, and the tailgating, and $110 for kids, and that includes the whole trip there. If you just want to go to the game and just take the bus ride, it's $90. So make sure you sign up quick because they do sell out. It's a great, great time. That's all.
Excellent. Ms. Randazzo.
No new business there.
Oh, but I did want to say, Ms. Randazzo, that it's very rare, obviously our birthdays fall within the weeks, but tonight she comes out for her birthday, so happy birthday. You don't want me to sing, right? Oh, we can if we want. I can do the Decker version or I can do the real version. We'll give you. Public comment. Anyone that would like to come up to the podium and speak? 3-minute limit on any of the topics that we discussed here tonight.
Can I just add something? I meant to mention that